Hey there drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's clip, I'd like to cover an issue I've had with my brand new ANAFI that I think will affect a lot of flyers out there. It has to do with the way the micro SD memory card is held inside the quad. Now to give you a little background on this, when the ANAFI first arrives and you open up the box, the memory card that comes with it is already installed in the quad. So essentially at that point, all you have to do, charge up the quad, charge up the controller, download the application, and you can put this guy up in the sky and start flying. The challenge comes when you land it and want to transfer the pictures and videos you've taken off the quad onto your computer. To do that, you've got to pull the micro SD card out of it. Now, most of the quads that I fly have a standard micro SD card slot that's spring-loaded. So if you're familiar with that, essentially you've got this tiny little memory card. You slide it in the slot. If you push it in far enough, you feel it click, so you know it's seated, and you're off and flying. When you're done for the day, you push it again, it pops out, you take the card out, and you can take it to your computer and transfer your photos. For some reason, Parrot's decided to go a different direction with the way they hold that card inside the quad. And it was puzzling to me because when I show you what the mechanism looks like, if you're not familiar with the quad, it really isn't a heavy-duty mechanism. I would consider the mechanism they're using in here to hold the memory card in the quad kind of a light-duty mechanism, which means it's not really designed to be inserted and removed a bunch of different times because it's a fairly fragile arrangement. And to be honest with you, the second day I was flying it, I was out in the field and I wanted to pull the memory card out and use one of the micro USB adapters for my phone and see if the pictures I thought I shot with it were good, or if I put it back up and take more pictures. And I tried to pull the memory card out of it, and the problem I'm going to describe to you in a minute happened to me, and I couldn't put the memory card back in, which is a real big problem because even though I could fly it at that point, it's not a flying camera anymore because I can't record anything on it. So let me show you how you get the memory card out. Now, if you've got an ANAFI already, you know what you're doing here, but for people that haven't bought this yet, I just want to explain what happens. So the memory card is below the battery in this unit, so you've got to pull the battery out first, push that button there, slide the battery back, and you're good to go. And that exposes the micro SD card in the bottom. Now, if you look closely at that, there's a little gate over the top of it, and I'll do a blow up of this so you can see it, but the gate over top of it's what holds the card down against the contacts. And this kind of assembly here is typically not used in consumer electronics where a card has to be put in and taken out a bunch of times because the way you get the card out of there is a little bit fragile. To do that, you're basically going to put your finger on it and slide that gate back, and you'll feel it click. Once it clicks, it's now in the free position. It pops up, and you can pull the memory card out. And then when you want to put the memory card back in, you've got to center it over that assembly. I'm probably having a hard time doing this, looking closely at it. Flip the gate back down, push down, and slide forward. Now that seemed pretty simple, and I only know that because I've done it a bunch of times already. But the second time I flew this guy, I pulled back on this, flipped it back to pull the memory card out, and when I was pulling the memory card out like that, that door popped off. And I was in a grassy field with a lot of weeds and high grass, and that door was gone forever. And I spent about 2 hours looking for that door. So I came home and I called up Parrot. I thought, okay, everybody complains about service on these quads. Let me test Parrot and see how their service is. So during normal business hours, I picked up the phone, I called their number to talk to their support people, and literally in the third ring, they answered. And it wasn't a push one for this, push two for that, or whatever. It was a person, a real person, and I was a little surprised by that. And I said, hey, this is Rick. I bought this brand new ANAFI. I love the quad, and I've got this small issue with it. And they said, well, what's going on? What can we do to help you? And I explained what the situation was. And he said, well, we've never heard that before. I know it's a new quad. We haven't got a lot of people out there that are using it yet, but let me go get one off the shelf and see what you're talking about. So when I described how I pulled back on that, again, with very little pressure, and somehow it popped off those back two mounting pins, and I lost it in the field, I thought I would just get a replacement from him. So he came back to the phone. He had an ANAFI in his hand. He pulled back on that and said, oh my gosh, this one just popped off on me. And this is the guy on the phone that's trying to troubleshoot it. So I said, okay, you can see where the problem is with this, because most consumers that are not familiar with this kind of delicate electronics are going to be kind of ham-handed like me, and they're going to pull back a little too hard and it's going to pop off. And once that thing disappears, it's impossible for you to film. You can't tape the card down because it's going to move around when it's flying. You're going to get all kinds of choppy video. So my next question was, can you send me a replacement for that? They don't have that part in stock. It's not a part that they stock, and the reason they don't stock it is because the printed circuit board itself, the entire board, is what's called an FRU, or field replaceable unit. So that whole board is replaced as one piece, even though all you need is that little gate on the top of it. So my options were to send it back to them or to try and find that gate somewhere else on the internet. Now that's an impossible task because there are probably 50 manufacturers of that kind of SIM holder on the planet. A lot of them in China, a lot of them in Japan, some of them in the US. But as an engineer, I don't like to present a problem without finding a fix. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to get on, create a clip and go, this thing stinks because it's broken and that's a stupid way to hold a SIM card. There's no point in that for me. So when I put this clip together, I wanted to have a resolution for it. And you can see that I've got a gate on there now. So you can tell that I fixed it. What I did was start speed dialing all my contacts in the electronics industry to find a company that would sell me that whole holder, the actual SIM holder itself with a new gate on it, because you can pop the gate off and you can replace it pretty simply. You can pop that gate off and that's the piece you're going to lose right there. So when I found a company, I had to do all kinds of high resolution pictures of it and measurements against it, looking at how the pinouts were and how it measured to fit in that exact slot. And I actually found a company that made available to us, we ordered a ton of them, those holders. So what we have now available on our website, again, as a service to you guys, is I've got these kits that you can use to replace that gate, because again, I don't think that's a field replaceable part from Parrot. Now maybe they're going to stock it, I hope they do, because that way if you lose it or break it, you can order it from them, they can send you one and you can replace it. But until they do, I think we're the only guys on the planet that have this replacement part available on the Drone Valley website. And I'm not here to sell you products, even though I'm saying you can buy it off the website. I'm here to solve a problem for you. And this is a problem that I had, and I'm pretty familiar with delicate electronics. So the fact that I broke this and lost it in the field, okay, I was real excited because I was flying. So maybe I was a little pumped up and I pulled it a little too hard. But even if I wasn't rough with it, over time, that metal is going to fatigue. And those back two ears, which are really the only thing holding it on that holder, are going to get flexed and they're going to pop off. So you're going to lose this thing down the road. I guarantee you're going to lose this thing down the road. Now, whether Parrot comes out with a fix for it or a modification for it to hold it in there, or some aftermarket company comes out with it, that would all be wonderful. But for the time being, if you own the ANAFI and you have that problem occur, hit our website. We've got them available. I've got them in packs of 2 for a really reasonable cost. We had to bring them in to actually stock them and have the manufacturer send them to us. So they're not cheap, but they're not insanely expensive. But that would be a really good spare part for you to have on hand. And that fixed the problem for me. So they arrived yesterday. I snapped the first one in, put the card in it, went out and flew it yesterday, flew it all day today. Rock solid video on it, so the problem is solved. But for me, I know we can complain about these kind of things. What I've said before about the ANAFI is this is Parrot's first real entree into sort of a prosumer quality drone. If you remember, the most sophisticated drone they had on the planet before that was the Bebop 2, which is a wonderful drone. I fly that a lot. I like it. It's a great drone. This is the first time they're stepping up to sort of the big leagues to compete with some of the Spark and Mavic Air and some of the other products on the market today. So this is kind of a interesting choice for them, but I'm not going to condemn them for that because we can fix the problem with a simple gate, a couple of bucks for the gate, and you're off and running. So it's not like it's a death nail for this product at all, but it is something you need to be aware of. So if this clip has helped you be a little more sensitive to that when you're pulling the card out, a brand new drone for you, so maybe this is helping you be a little more sensitive to that, or if you've already lost that part and you're pulling your hair out trying to find it, we can help you with that. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope you found this clip helpful. And again, I like the product a lot. I've been flying it like crazy the last couple of days. I think it's a wonderful quad. And this little problem right here is not going to change my opinion of it one bit now that I've fixed it with this, this small part that I've been able to get my hands on. So that's it for today. If you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments below. I love putting these kind of clips together, and hopefully by presenting a problem that I've had and a solution to that problem, you find these clips helpful, and we'll continue to make them as long as you guys keep watching. So thanks again for today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that button down there. We've got a ton of reviews coming on the Parrot. I've got the brand new Evo, which we're going to be talking a lot about. I've been flying that thing like mad as well. So stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of comparisons between the new quads that are out this summer, and we're all kind of waiting for this brand new DJI quad, supposedly quad, that's coming as well. So stay tuned to the channel. But thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy flying.